Welcome to the Fifth Estate, a conversation between young African scholars from the Fort Hall School of Government and Professor Mutahi Ngunyi. This is a letter to President Uhuru Kenyatta. And because to lie to the king is to commit high treason, we will get to the point, and truthfully. Raila is winning. He is winning the argument, but not the prize. He is winning the debate, but not the trophy. He is winning the battle, but not the war. Will he win the election? We doubt it, unless of course you allow him to, Mr. President.
Dear Mr. President, we must read to you a story from George Orwell's book, Animal Farm, also known as Shamba la Wanyama. It is about a leader with a plan and a distractor executing a scheme. At this point in the story, Snowball's plans for building a windmill are ready. He had drawn them on a big piece of paper, which he laid on the floor. All the other animals came to look at the drawings every day, and they were very careful not to step on them. Only Napoleon stayed away. He had declared his opposition to the windmill from the very beginning. One day, he arrived out giving notice to see the plans. He walked around, looking closely at every detail of the drawings, and he even sniffed at them with a lot of contempt. Then suddenly, he lifted his leg, urinated all over the plans, and walked out. Is Raila Odinga doing to you what Napoleon did to Snowball? Is he peeing on your plans without giving alternatives?
Dear Mr. President, this is why Raila thinks he is winning. He has made nonsense of all your plans, from NYS to Eurobond, from SGR to Moranga Water Tunnel. What is more, he has provided no alternatives. And like Napoleon in George Orwell's Animal Farm, should Raila come to power, he will implement all your plans intact, and then convince the people that they were his in the first place. The point, therefore, is this: Raila is winning, but he is winning at disorganizing you. He disorganized NYS, wants to disorganize the voter register, and we have no idea what he will disorganize ahead of the election. Is this man good or is he good? The question to you, sir, therefore, is this: why? Why? Why allow him?
We must remember that Raila is currently a jobless man. That joblessness is at the core of the Raila Doctrine. And his central motive is very simple. If you cannot have the job, pee on it. Sometimes his peeing has been spot on, other times he has peed out of mischief. And like Napoleon in Animal Farm, Raila will pee on Uhuru's plans, collect them, dry them up, and implement them if elected. Then he will convince the public that the plans were his in the first place. But there is a second part to the Raila Doctrine: repetition. They say that repeating a lie does not make it a truth. Well, that is wrong. A lie repeated many times, as Lenin told us, becomes a truth actually. And you can even locate it in religious books. And this is the Raila Doctrine: lie until you drop. And nothing demonstrates this better than corruption and how it has tired the national psyche.
Dear Mr. President, this is why Raila believes he is winning. Without a doubt, he has won the debate on corruption. However, he has won the battle, but not the war. In fact, maybe he's not interested in winning the war. On your part, sir, is it possible that you have aided him? Immediately you fired 5 ministers. Kenyans demanded for more blood. Then you gave an ultimatum at the State House Anti-Corruption Summit. And now, new corruption at Afya House has emerged. Is there a relationship between your own corruption and its growth? Like the hydra snake with many heads, where if you cut one head, 2 will grow in its place. Has your cutting of heads led to the growth of more corrupt heads?
Dear Mr. President, allow me to give you a story on corruption. It's about a snake that stole a farmer's eggs. It would sneak in through a hole in the fence, head for the chicken pen, swallow an egg, and run away. But on its way out, its swollen stomach from the stolen egg would get stuck in a hole. To pass through, it would slap its stomach against the ground and the fence until the shell broke. With its stomach now normal, it would pass through the hole. After trying to catch the snake for months, the farmer decided to change tact. He boiled an egg and left it in an obvious place for the snake to swallow. As expected, the snake slithered in, swallowed the egg, and headed out. But this time, it could not break the shell of the egg because it was as hard as a rock. The poor snake got stuck at the narrow hole, and the farmer struck it to death. Mr. President, maybe you should change tact. Instead of chasing the slithering snakes in government, maybe you should just boil the egg.
Uhuru lost the battle on corruption the day he declared that he wants to fight corruption. Corruption is not something you fight. You fight it, it multiplies. You slay it, it breeds bigger and more vicious corruption. Like the Hydra, if you chop off one head, 3 heads grow. You chop off a head at NYS, you breed 3 more vicious corruption heads at DCI, DPP, and the judiciary. And this is because corruption does not fight back. Corruption corrupts back. Corruption breeds more corruption. But what's the solution for Uhuru? In my view, Uhuru's strategy should move from anti-corruption to counter-corruption. Anti-corruption is a response to breeding symptoms. Counter-corruption is more preventive. Instead of chasing the slithering snakes in government, Uhuru should just boil an egg and trap them. He should focus on systemic sabotage and failure within government. That way, he will not be trapped by Raila Odinga.
Dear Mr. President, allow me to narrate a fable by C.L. James. Once upon a time, an old dog saw a puppy chasing its tail and asked, "Why are you chasing your tail?" The puppy replied, "I have learned that the best thing for a dog is happiness, and that happiness is in my tail. Therefore I am chasing it, and when I catch it, I shall be happy." The old dog stared at the little puppy and responded, "My son, I too have realized that happiness is a fine thing for a dog, and that happiness is in my tail. However, I have also noticed that when I chase after it, it keeps running away from me. But when I go about my business as usual, it follows me." Mr. President, sir, seeking the constant approval of the public is like chasing your tail. Maybe like the older dog advised, you should give the public the Madarao card and go about your business. And if you do so, their approval will follow, like the tail behind the dog.
Dear Mr. President, this is the reason why Raila thinks he is winning. Maybe your attempt to demystify the presidency is not working, and maybe the State House summits expose you too much. Power is about mystique. If you remove the mystique, political power evaporates. And because power abhors a vacuum, it finds a new home. Is this why Raila thinks he is winning? Does he see himself as a natural home for your runaway power?
The reason why the government is called Sirikali or top secret is because a government without a cloud of mystique is like an egg without salt. The more mysterious a government is, the more powerful it seems. You remove the cloud of mystique, you corrode its power. And this is why demystifying government has always backfired. What is my point here? The masses adore a soft dictator. And this is why they call Raila Baba. He is a participatory dictator and they enjoy his dictatorship one way or the other. In sum, if you open yourself to public scrutiny too much and seek public approval, the public will control you. And then its leaders will pee on your good intentions. This is what has happened to Uhuru Kenyatta. But if you give the public the Madarao card or the contempt card, you will control them. Like Kibaki, Uhuru should just morph into a cold-blooded stone and bore us with absence and silence. And if he does so, he will be like the wise old dog. Instead of chasing his tail, he will go about his business and the tail of public approval will follow him.